With a 1-0 victory over Gamba Osaka, that concludes the Japanese Let's Take Celtic Round the World Tour, and let's get back to Glasgow. Let's get back to business for pre-season ahead of what should be a very exciting 23-24 season. And I think this match really did tell us a lot about the different styles of play we can see for Celtic over the coming season, as well as where the manager, Brendan Rodgers, sees some of the players we've got in the squad fitting in to his mind of how we're going to play this season. At any point in the video, if you laugh, you learn, you like something or whatever, please do like and subscribe to the channel. We're pushing for 10,000 subscribers before the new season starts against Ross County, and we cannot do that without the support of the boys and girls all over the world that enjoy the content. So if you do enjoy it, please do subscribe, hit the like button, and drop a comment and let us know what it was you enjoyed about the video today. And yeah, let's just get stuck into it. So this is the team that started the match, and I think it definitely raised some eyebrows for me seeing Iwata in at right back. I thought it might have been Welsh at first, and the midfield having McGregor, Rio and Turnbull. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to catch the full first half, but from what I've seen, it seemed to be a relatively normal kind of back four, and we were creating a little kind of box situation here that allowed us to kind of play the ball out from the back and look to get some playmaker passes from McGregor, from Rio and from Turnbull to play the guys into space that have pace in their legs, you know. Forrest quite a lot on the right, very quickly, you know, again, he might have started the first half of the first half on this side, but when I seen he was on the left, very quickly cutting inside to join Daisen Maeda in a bit of a duet here, with Abada keeping wide right for those balls to be played into the channels for someone to go and run them down as well. The manager said pre-match that Daisen Maeda would be featuring more and more probably through the middle, and he was very impressed with what he offers in this area. So seeing him being the arrowhead of a front three was very exciting, and unfortunately, despite the offsides from the referees, no goals came from this front three, but that's the kind of compounding feature we've seen through pre-season of Daisen Maeda, certainly through the middle. Seeing McGregor play firmly in a more advanced position than Rio Hatate in different spells definitely did gain my attention as well. And seeing Iwata once or twice getting into this kind of zone from right back and playing some balls and linking up with some play did make me think that we could be having that more kind of creative fullback situation. I didn't get to see too much of Greg Taylor or really see what his contribution was, to be honest. I didn't see much from Starfelt or Welsh either in particular. Joe Hart was asked to make a bit of a save and didn't for their goal, which was like 2 or 3 yards onside, and immediately afterwards, a player who's been tipped frequently on this channel to be the somebody we should be looking at bringing in, Kosei Tani, put in a very good first half performance for Gamba Osaka. If he did get to watch the game, let me know in the comment section what you thought of Tani. Could he be a good understudy to Joe Hart from what you've seen in that opening 45? I think you got to see a really good account of the guy, saving some shots, as well as being able to play with a defence under pressure against a good team. But Hatate, Turnbull and McGregor were getting crowded into these little positions deep in the pitch, and they were really trying to suck in possession, and as I say, the main route to goal looked to be play into space and get the pace on the ball and try and get those quick interplays down into the positions of maximum opportunity for those nice little cheeky tap-in goals that these guys are more than capable of scooping up as a trifecta. Second half seen us make a full team change, and I think like with it being a fully fledged second string backline with Bernabe on the side, seeing Thiago Holm and O'Reilly come into this double pivot kind of position, and Kyogo partnering two guys up front with Haksabanovic and Vata out there offering some width. I was really excited for the second half, and I think this is where we learned a lot of lessons for how the manager sees some of these players particularly evolving. I was close to shouting out, I thought I would leave it for the video, but it was very much a 4-4-2 probably at first glance, but as the game went on, and I was actually already lined up with Etienne 23 to do a recording of this on Monday, but it very much more became a bit of Red Bull football, or a bit of Green Bull football as we're maybe going to call it over here, where in possession and out of possession, quite firmly, Haksabanovic was playing high and wide up here, Bernabe was keeping to his line, and the back four was in essence shaping into being a bit of a back three, with Vata given all this space up here, because the way this front two works is all about pressing, and it's all about the different boxes across the pitch. Now, it depends on the manager and the coach exactly how this works out, but you'll notice Kyogo will come and press up until this kind of halfway point, and everything's to do with O out on this side here. Vata in the midfield are the support for O on this side, and for Kyogo, his support is Haksabanovic in the midfield as well. Now, McPherson is very much tucked in on this right-hand side here, Maybe similar to something that you could see somebody like a Tomoki Iwata doing, or any of the other defenders really, if we were to shape into a back three, kind of live in the game, and having an attacking winger being your only real wide presence here to facilitate having a front two of probably eventually Kyogo and Daisen Maeda. Haksabanovic, but was much more of a decoy. You know, he would hang out here nice and wide, and as soon as Kyogo would be engaged on the ball, and Kyogo was dropping into some real different positions to get on the ball when we were building out. But as soon as Kyogo would engage with the ball, Haksabanovic comes alive and fills into different spots as well. And you know, the way Haksabanovic plays, he's got that low centre of gravity, he likes to turn, likes a pass, likes link-up play, as does Kyogo from these deep areas here. We've really seen a beginning of how this team could be building out, because in this Red Bull kind of system, if you like, because I think we've played with Ben McPherson, who's a youth player, Alistair Johnson and a few other players, you could rely on them to maybe push out a bit higher here and allow whoever's in this position maybe a bit more of an attacking threat in terms of in the build-up play, pushing that kind of decoy width where you're going to force another defender to follow you and stretch an area of the pitch so that if it is crowded in one area, you've got space to play into around the other side. So I think we're maybe carried a wee bit of McPherson and Lawal here, both with their inexperience and having Vata on this side. So I think we're trying to maybe secure that. But normally in these shapes, it's all about this middle six that normally gets formed that is like the security of the team. And these are the guys that get all the creative freedom to really move up and down the pitch with the ball, as well as break rank and then go and join in with whatever space the ball might break into to ultimately go and create havoc for whoever the target man striker is that's really holding up the key part of the pitch here. We've seen O'Reilly kind of box walk a few times, and every time O'Reilly went in a bit more of an attacking role for the team, whenever we did kind of try and get at Gamba Osaka in the second half, O'Reilly would be the one that would carry out. Thiago Holm is very good at knitting passes in these tight spaces in and around and playing the ball forward. He didn't really put a foot wrong, maybe one pass into a channel towards the back end of the half, but nothing major. But when you play this way, you need somebody to step in and cover. I think this is something Greg Taylor could definitely do. Liam Scales was doing this, and if you watched the second half, you would have found Liam Scales in these kind of areas up here, trying to confront the ball when Gamba Osaka were trying to counter-attack, and then Lawal and McPherson are maybe the bailout option on the, you know, they're the ones with pace, because Scales, I think he did incredibly well in this match, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. But pace is not something he's got, especially in recovery, coming back to your own goal. So if you're going to have somebody going up and confronting there, you kind of don't want it to be one of your centre-backs. If it was a Taylor, it was an Iwata-type person in one of those inverted full-back spots, covering into these boxes to allow like an O'Reilly to come further up the pitch and then cause those overloads, which is what you need in these attacking, possession-dominated outfits. Tactics, philosophies, whatever you're going to think of it as, like we are kind of setting up as here, because Vata and Bernabe had the full license to come up in the wing, and then it's all about this centre box here, how you control that and how you cause overloads and how you really focus in on a team's weaknesses. And this is the second string for the most part that's been playing in this shape for the second half, but like we've seen under Ange Postecoglou, this is a 16-18 man team. So as much as we might start 4-3-3, very much like we've seen with the Gamba Osaka game today, as the game evolves over the 90 minutes, Ange Postecoglou would maintain strategy by making a triple sub and then a couple of subs later on. He didn't want to change the plan, didn't want to evolve. Brendan Rodgers is obviously testing out methods of changing the game with a couple of substitutions to maybe unlock defences that give you different problems. That kind of versatility, that sort of problem solving is something that we need to be maximising for the European campaign. So nice to see us getting a little bit of Red Bull, Green Bull football out there, because if we're going to be playing Daisen Maeda and Kyogo up front in centre forward positions or whatever, how do we play them both in the team, and how do we accommodate all of these other players? If this kind of shape evolves out, you know, you can take Haksabanovic out of this dead easy and put Hatate in there. You can put McGregor in these kind of roles very easily, as well as obviously Maeda and one or two others on the fringes, you know, Abadas and maybe some other signings, Tilios and whatever, Juns, guys with real pace and conviction. And again, if this is more of a solid defence back here, you can probably rely upon this a bit more, and there's maybe a few more options and versatility. But if this is how we're coaching the players, and this is how the players that we're IDing now are also versatile, that we can do this kind of tactical flexibility in game, it's going to be a huge level up opportunity for us. I really enjoyed it for a friendly. I really enjoyed kind of watching this second half kind of flesh out. Kyogo, you could see him having a little chat with himself at the 90th minute, saying you're only going to get one more chance to score. He did get a one-on-one opportunity with Higashiguchi in the second half, but it never came to much. And ultimately, it was a kind of huff and a puff with nothing going on. It would be remiss of me not to mention the Bernabei goal. So Bernabei actually had found himself, I think we were defending a corner, and then on the breakout opportunity, Bernabei had found himself on the right wing with maybe this kind of situation here. He's trying to play the ball up into, I don't know if he's trying to hit Kyogo, but he's played it up into this space here. The goalkeepers came to meet it, and he's not given up on it. He's managed to pick the guy's pocket and ultimately get the ball into the back of the net. So a really good endeavour goal for him. I put a wee tweet out, Bernabei goal, Bernabei assist. So, you know, like, I do still think Taylor could come into the team. I think he still probably has a good shot of being the best left back in Brendan Rodgers' eyes. I didn't see enough of the first half, but to really comment on him today. But Bernabei, over all of pre-season, has continued to get headlines. And if he is going to be that wide attacking left option, by backing this kind of Red Bull, control the centre of the pitch, chess match, box football, if you like, you can permit him from left back to do all of this. You really can. Teams do it all the time. And if this is the best way to get out of Bernabei, and he can get goals and assists all the time from wide left back, then that's a weapon that we want to have at our disposal. So I love the versatility even in the fullbacks that we're seeing on the left-hand side, never mind all the potential that's in here in these middle areas. I hope after this game, Celtic submit some sort of loan with option to buy for Kositani. Otherwise, I think it is going to be back to Glasgow and back to business. We should see now the managers maybe learn some bits and pieces. I think Scales today okay, but he's probably not got the pace probably to handle it. It could, you know, some of these guys, like, you know, Lowell even looked okay in spells, but some of these guys, I could see them playing a role for Celtic, you know, 5-10 matches over the season in all competitions from the bench, League Cups against Stranraers and these kind of things. So I'm definitely not writing anyone off in the squad at this point at all. I did find it interesting, no Yuki Kobayashi in this game. I don't know if he's injured or something, but I think it'll be back to Glasgow, back to business. We might see some quick outgoings. Some of these fringe players maybe do get their loan, do get sold or something like that, and that might be the domino effect that the club is now making. What if I seen a quote this morning, Brendan Rodgers saying there was no big money promises made? And yeah, sure, strictly speaking, that's the case, but hey, don't try and pull that crap with us, Celtic, you know. This time, no way. Go for glory. Get the biggest and best guys we can. Have a great weekend. Hail, hail.